Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home.
Hello and welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show. I'm so happy to have you here. It is a great day to be alive, and if you're watching, I am recording this from Hawaii. Yes, I'm in Hawaii. It's gorgeous everywhere here, of course. And if you're listening, you might be able to hear the beautiful sound of the ocean and the waves that are crashing against the beach. So I just want to say that I'm very grateful to be here, grateful to be connecting with you right now, and especially after having been to prison. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be talking about today in the context of this topic, which is where do you want to be 1 year from now? So let me first talk to you a little bit about the Secret Sauce group, because if you have not joined us in the Secret Sauce group, I encourage you to do that. This is a Facebook group where anybody who struggles with food and weight comes to get community and get connected. It's a complimentary group. You don't have to be in any of my programs in order to join it. You just look up the Secret Sauce to End Emotional Eating in Facebook and boom, request to join and you'll be in. That's where we continue the conversation, and I'd love for you to join us there, and you get all that up-to-date news about what's going on with Heal Your Hunger and opportunities and masterclasses and free stuff and interviews and all that. So please join us there. And also, if you're not sure if you're an emotional eater or not, and you hear that, you think you might be, but you want to know if you are and where you stand with that, because it's a spectrum. Everybody's on the spectrum. We're all emotional eaters. I believe God made us that way to have an emotional connection with food, so we'd subsist, right, as a planet, as a species. So take the quiz, find out where you are on the spectrum. Are you an emotional eater on the low end, or are you a food addict on the high end? So that's what you'll get when you take that quiz, and it's free and it's on the website healyourhunger.com. So now I want to talk to you about this topic, which is incredible, and I think will be very thought-provoking for you, as it has been for me. So I went to prison a couple days ago, and I went to a maximum security prison in California. It's called the High Desert State Prison. I've been before. This was my second time. And as I talk about it today, if it interests you to join me on another trip to prison, please ping me, email me, and let me know, and I'll send you details, because we go every quarter to this prison, and we help the guys out there. We're helping men who are convicted felons. Some of them are murderers. I don't want to label them as murderers. They have killed people. So the reason why I don't say they're murderers is because they're people first who have committed crimes, and one of those crimes is, is murder. Most of their crimes have been done, whether it's robbery or assault. They've been done through gang violence. So a lot of these guys are have been gang members. And so that's kind of how they started, and that's how they ended. If they landed in prison, oftentimes they continue their gang violence in prison. There's a whole bunch of gang violence in prison, a whole bunch of gang activity. That's usually how they identify in prison and get through prison, is being identified with a gang. But many of them lose their life being in gangs in prison, because there's a high penalty for defecting from a gang, and obviously there's they can lose their life from gang activity and just all the awful things that happen in that kind of sick environment. So the guys that I went to help are wanting to better their lives, okay? So these guys, they have committed terrible crimes. But the point of the Hustle 2.0 program, which is what I'm a volunteer for, which brings a curriculum to these guys where they rehabilitate themselves and their lives through the Hustle program, they're there because, they're turning a corner and they don't want to be in gangs anymore. They don't want to do terrible things anymore. They want to better themselves and they want a chance to have a better life when they get out. And so as volunteers, we help them do that. We look over their resumes. They're taught in the curriculum how to write a resume. They're taught how to do a job interview. They're taught how to create business plans because many of them are entrepreneurial. Because look, I mean, if you're on the streets selling drugs, if you're hustling for money, if you're hustling for gang membership, you've got some hustle skills, and those same skills can be used for good, for legal activity. And that's what they're doing, is they're transforming their hustle skills into basically entrepreneurial skills that they can use to build a business. And so that's what we do there, is we help cultivate that for them. And by listening to their business plans, giving them suggestions, we also help them to do their parole interviews, their parole board interviews, so they have a chance to get out when they go up against the board. Because many of them, they just go up against the board and they talk about their past crimes in a way that doesn't put them in the best light. And even if they have transformed, they don't know how to express that. And then, boom, they're denied, and they're looking at 3 or 5 more years in prison simply because they don't know how to interview in front of a board. So we teach them these skills through the Hustle program, and as volunteers we go in and we let them role play with us, and we give them so much love and encouragement. And there's many entrepreneurs who go in as volunteers, and they give their these are many people have built multi-million and billion-dollar industries, which I have not, but I lend my skills and what I know about building a business to these guys. And more than anything, I go in to love. I go in to give these guys love, because they are little angels. They are, oh my goodness, they didn't have a chance. I mean, the cards were so stacked against them. I mean, they basically, grew up with gang violence. Their parents were in gangs, their parents were drug addicts. They don't know how to live. They got no skills. They did not get love. And so, they're at an extreme deficit, and they get into gangs because that's where they're going to get love. And they don't know how to live in any other way. So they're learning how to live a new way with this Hustle program, and the recidivism rate is so low. It's proven that this program really works, and that's why I'm a part of it, because I love it, and I love volunteering, and I love loving on these guys. I go there to love. I'm all about just pouring so much love into them and looking into their eyes and giving them encouragement. And most of them don't have families that will visit them anymore because they've been in so long. Their families give up on them. I mean, it's really sad. And they just need love and encouragement and affirmation. And this is my second time going, so when I went back, it to see the light in their eyes, like when they saw me again, they're like, wow, you came back. I mean, they've been abandoned so many times, and their parents either died or left them or beat them or whatever. I mean, it's really, their stories are bad. So it's really beautiful to go and affirm them and to see that little spark of hope, that little spark of divinity. I mean, I see God in them. They're children of God, and they deserve a second chance. And that's what we're there for, is to help give them a second chance. So that's not really what I'm here to talk about. I want to talk about the lessons that I learned from these guys, because they were teaching me more than anything. And to talk a little bit about the fact that I'm filming here in Hawaii, what's cool about that is I was here a year ago at the same location with this program where I was being coached, in my own business. I have a coach, and she gets a bunch of women entrepreneurs together, and we work on our businesses and give each other support and, network. And I have to tell you that my life looks nothing like it did 12 months ago. I mean, some of you know my story. I separated from my husband last February. So I was, and that was 3 months after coming to Hawaii. So my coming to Hawaii, my stepping out of my comfort zone, my paying for my ticket, my coming here, my networking with these women, most of whom I didn't know, my working on my business, my asking for help and getting coached to be more effective in my business so I could serve more people and help more people with emotional eating, that was all outside my comfort zone. But I did it because I didn't have the answers myself, and I needed to get support and help. And I bring that up because it was a major turning point for me, because 3 months later, I did something that I was afraid to do for years, which is to leave my marriage. And I wanted to for several years, and I didn't have the courage. And getting this support, getting this love, getting this, inspiration around taking bold steps helped me get to that point where I'm like, here we go, let's do this. It's time. I stopped sweeping this under the carpet, acting like I was going to be okay, or I could, get through it or whatever. And my husband's beautiful. If you know him, he's lovely, and I'm not here to say anything bad about him. It just wasn't the right thing for me anymore. We'd been together for so long, and I needed to move on. So I got the support, and then I got the impetus to do what I needed to do for me, the strength. And I see that in these guys, and they're in there for a long, long time, but in order for them to really change, in order for them to really get out when they go up against the parole board, they're going to have to get some help to think differently and live differently. And if they don't get that help, nothing's going to change. You've heard the saying, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Well, that's really what we're talking about here. And it's true for me, and it's true for the guys in prison, and chances are it's true for you too. Right? If nothing changes, nothing changes. How many years have you been farting around trying to lose weight? How long have you been on this merry-go-round, this roller coaster ride of losing weight and gaining weight, and and keeping 5 different pairs of or sizes of pants in your closet because you're yo-yoing all the time? That was me. I was a yo-yo dieter. I'd lose weight, and then, within seconds of reaching goal weight, boom, I'd be right up the scale again. I did it over and over and over again. It was so frustrating. And I did it because I was going about it the wrong way. I was losing weight in a way that was never going to keep me thin. I was doing the physical stuff. I was chasing the diets. I was chasing the exercise plans. And that simply does not work if you're an emotional eater. You need a better plan than that. And so that's really when things changed for me, is when I got help. I got help, and Roy Nelson is the one who helped me. I got help to go deeper and to deal with the underlying causes of my emotional eating. That's the only way I was able to lose the weight and keep it off. I've been in a thin body for 30 plus years now, by the grace of God. But only because I stopped trying to do it myself, only because I stopped trying to have the answers, only because I wanted things to be different. I heard something one time that just really rang true, and it was, you can either have 20 years experience, or you can have 1 year of experience 20 times. And with weight loss, that's often what we do, is we have 20 years of experience, or I'm sorry, we don't have 20 years of experience, we have 1 year of experience 20 times, up and down the scale, yo-yoing, aren't you sick of that? Aren't you completely sick of that? So I'm here to just say that you can have a new experience with food if you stop trying to do it yourself, if you reach out for help, if you stop doing the things you've been doing over and over and over again that haven't gotten you the results you want. That's the only way you're going to be able to have a new experience and a new life 12 months from now. So my original question of where do you want to be 1 year from now, your success in getting there is entirely dependent on you doing something different, not the same thing. Please don't be seduced by diets. Don't be seduced by just joining a gym. That's not going to cut it if you're an emotional eater. Go deeper, deal with the root cause, get coached, get support, get community, people who can support you. I have to say, these guys, they've overcome so much. They are gang members. A lot of them would have killed each other, but in the Hustle 2.0 program, they become brothers. And at the end of the day, we did this lip syncing. The reason why I do this is because it's really fun. It's like the gal who runs the program, her name's Kat Hoke, and she's been doing this for 15 years, working in the prisons to develop this program to help inmates. And she makes it so fun. So we're dancing. We've got a DJ there using music every time we're, transitioning from one activity to another. And at the end of the day, we do a lip syncing contest. The guys in prison versus the volunteers, and it is the funniest thing ever. And these guys are they are really connected. There's community for them, and so they're benefiting from the fact. They had community like we didn't. We're volunteers that just came together for 2 days. These guys live with each other day in and day out. They eat lunch together. It's meals together. So, they've built community, but inadvertently. I don't think they wanted to. It just happens when you're in that kind of close quarters and under those kinds of circumstances. But they used it, man. They nailed us in that lip syncing contest, because they were doing the funniest things, and they were breakdancing, and they were being crazy, and it was awesome to see. So my point in that is that they're using community to overcome their difficulties and to support each other in this Hustle 2.0 program. So it's powerful to stop doing things alone, stop fighting each other and start getting support to reach your goals. And these guys are going to have a different experience in the next 12 months than they would have had they kept doing the same thing. The saying, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results. So my question to you is, where do you want to be 12 months from now, and what are you doing to get there? What are you doing? What activities are you taking that are contrary action to what you usually do? Do not have 1 year's experience 20 times. Don't add a 21st 1 year to your life. Don't keep doing the same thing. And reach out for community, get support, get a system for healing emotional eating that works. Stop the diets. Just like these guys, they're breaking out of their shell. They are in this hustle program. They're learning the curriculum. They're working their butts off. I was humbled by how much they work. I was humbled by, how they wrote. They've got such good handwriting. I have crapola handwriting. These guys have such neat handwriting. I was reading their resumes. I'm like, man, I wish I had handwriting like that. They're working hard. They're learning how to do a job interview where they talk about why they went to prison, so they cover that. You can't get a job, with a big 15-year gap in your resume unless you know how to explain that gap, so they do that, they practice it. They've got over 1,000 pages in their curriculum that they're studying, so they are working their butts off to have a different experience 1 year from now, to have a change in their life. And that's what I would encourage you to do, is do not keep doing what you've always done. Do not keep saying, oh, today, don't wake up tomorrow and say, oh, well, I was good yesterday, so I'm good. I'm good, I don't need to do anything about my eating. No, don't fall into that seductive trap. If you've been struggling chronically with food and weight, it's not getting up and going away on its own. You've got to take action. You've got to be proactive, okay? And so don't fall into that trap of just hoping for the best. If you've been struggling with food and weight, it is a struggle, and it's affecting every area of your life. So what actions are you going to take? In what ways are you going to say enough is enough? Enough is enough. I want to have a new body 12 months from now. I want to have a new experience of life. I want to love myself and stop dissing myself and beating myself up and stop sabotaging my success. I want to stop that. In order to stop that, you're going to have to take some massive action. In order to have a new experience, and always, not just with food, and always in your life, your job, your relationships, your health. If you're going to have a new experience, you're going to have to do things differently and take massive action. So I'm here to be a little birdie on your shoulder and say, guess what? Now's the day, today's the day, now's the time. Don't keep hoping and wishing. If those guys just hope and wish in prison, guess what's going to happen? Nothing, except another year of misery. 12 months from now, they'll be in the exact same position with the exact same consciousness and the exact same hopeless future. But instead, the guys who join the Hustle program are bettering themselves, they're improving their lives, they're cleaning out emotions. We did a lot of emotional work when I was in there. It was powerful. I healed from some stuff, and it was so cool. Again, if you're interested, please ping me, and I'll tell you about how you can join me for the next one in February. But the point is, take some action, my friends. Take some action. Stop wishing and hoping. Not going to work, okay? It's not going to work. You've got to take a different tack, and the time is now. So I'm here to support you. I offer, right now, I'm going to put a link in the show notes because I want to offer you a complimentary breakthrough session. Let's talk about it. Let's see what your game plan is going to look like for having a different experience in the next 12 months. I want to help you with that. You don't have to commit to working with me. Let's have a talk and let that illuminate your path and what you need to do. Keeping it all, bottled up in your head, in your heart, isn't going to give you new insights and new perspective. But talking it out with somebody who understands and cares, that could be transforming for you. So let's have that talk. And I look forward to connecting with you. And I just wish you all the best. And I'll see you on the next show. Take care. Much love.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to get free support, insider health info, exclusive invites to events, and more, visit healyourhunger.com.